You're watching Wion World is One. I'm Krishna Kumar. We're continuing to bring you the latest on the last rites of Goa Chief Minister and former Defence Minister of India, Manohar Parrikar. India is bidding farewell to Manohar Parrikar as we speak. It's a full state funeral that's being performed in Goa's capital, Panaji. On your screens are live latest visuals of thousands paying their last respects along with a state funeral being given to Manohar Parrikar. Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, Defence Minister of India, Nirmala Sitharaman and other top union ministers like Union Minister Suresh Prabhu are at this funeral. They've come to pay the last respects to Manohar Parrikar, one of the tallest leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, a veteran BJP leader who has been part of the RSS as well, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, a graduate of IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, one of the first IITians to take to politics, has passed away at the age of 63 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. But Manohar Parrikar was a workaholic who worked till his last breath, famous for delivering the Goa state budget with a tube attached to his nose. It's the final farewell to a people's politician. The last rites are being performed at the Miramar beach in Goa. Manohar Parrikar's mortal remains were kept at the Kala Academy in Panaji for the day, for the people to bid him goodbye one last time, where PM Modi arrived to pay his last respects and offered his condolences to his mourning family. We have Arun Anand, senior journalist, joining us on the phone line. Arun Anand, even as we speak to you, as the last rites are being performed for Mr. Manohar Parrikar, it is certainly going to leave a huge vacuum in the state of Goa, because while the BJP Goa unit has announced a replacement candidate in the form of Pramod Sawant, there's a very good chance that the Congress party will be completely unacceptable to it.
You're right that he is going to leave a huge vacuum in Goa BJP, but not only Goa BJP, actually national BJP. Manohar Parrikar is was one of those politicians who represented the legacy in true word and spirit, which the legacy of the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay and Shama Prasad Mukherjee. The way he lived his life as a politician and his transition from a swamsevak to a politician, he had a clean image, he was a good administrator, and he was very much grounded, unlike a large number of politicians which we see today. Carried that image through and it has left. That's why I'm saying that if you remember that it was Manohar Parrikar who had proposed Narendra Modi's name as the prime ministerial candidate in the Goa National Executive. So he was one of the major pillars of Bharatiya Janata Party. And though BJP has an advantage that it is not an individual or a family-driven party, so people come and go, but of course, he has left a huge impression on the party, and he was one of the role models of young leaders who were making a transition sometimes from RSS to the BJP.
Arun Anand, senior journalist, joining us on this broadcast as we are bringing to you pictures of the last rites being performed at the Miramar beach in Panaji for Manohar Parrikar. Arun Anand, you put it right, it's a big loss for the BJP as a whole, because keep in mind, this is the same defence minister under whom India conducted the surgical strikes against Pakistan.
Yeah, it's also the kind of clarity of thought which Manohar Parrikar had. And so there are very few politicians who have been very successful at the state level, and then they have performed equally well at the national level. So he was very effective as a Goa chief minister. And then when he became defense minister, as you rightly said, that the surgical strikes were conducted under him. So he worked very effectively. And in a very short time, he made that transition. And then when again he went back to Goa 10 years back, so again there was a smooth transition for him. So it's, I think, a rarity in There are very few politicians in India who could have made such a smooth transition. So that's why I'm saying that he was a popular politician and a good administrator. This is also a combination which we do not find generally. We'll have good administrators who are not mass-based leaders. But Manohar Parrikar has both. And the modesty with which he carried all these through all these years. So I think it's something which is becoming an exception in Indian politics.
Arun Anand, senior journalist, joining us with this perspective as we bring to you live visuals of the last rites of Manohar Parrikar being performed. It's a full state funeral that's been accorded to Manohar Parrikar at the Miramar beach in Panaji, and the funeral pyre is getting ready as we speak. We have Kalyani Shankar, political commentator, now joining us on the phone line. Kalyani Shankar, we're talking to you as we're bringing live pictures of the last rites being performed at the Miramar beach in Panaji. Manohar Parrikar will be sorely missed, not just by the people of Goa, but by the people of India as well.
Well, you have said it very rightly. You see, Manohar Parrikar has become a national leader, though he was chief minister of a very small union territory, Goa. And since probably when he became the defense minister, he became more known all over the country. And defense is a very big ministry. And Prime Minister Modi must have thought that he was fit enough to handle the big ministry. And he was given the defense portfolio. And he did it very well. And he was responsible for that one man, one rank, that OROP, which the military people were asking for. And he fought for it. I know for sure myself, I had talked to him about it at the time. And he was very, very keen to make sure that it was delivered to the armed forces. And he has, one thing about him is that, he was such a simple person. And he was accessible. For a journalist, what do we need? We need access. And that's where he was very good. Anytime you call him up, he would be on the line. And when you meet him somewhere, he will talk to you. And he was not, he was very easily accessible, which is very, very important. And he was the one who took this International Film Festival to Goa. He fought for it as a chief minister and took it there. And since then, every year you have this International Film Festival being done in Goa, which is a very big thing for a small state like Goa.
Absolutely.
I remember one.
And Kalyani Shankar, you had the Prime Minister paying tributes to Manohar Parrikar, calling him a builder of modern India for his work in the Defence Ministry. And Kalyani Shankar, we're showing pictures of his mortal remains being taken to the funeral pyre as we speak. And in this moment, you're telling us what great cultural service he did to the state of Goa by bringing the International Film Festival single-handedly to the state.
Yeah, not only that, you see, he had brought stability to his government. Goa being a small state, and even in the northeast, they are all very small states. They have all these Ayaram, Gayaram. Even one MLA leading one party to another and joining them, that sort of, tilts the balance. So in such a state like that, whenever he was a chief minister, he was able to bring stability. Even now, you just see, until he died yesterday, the government was intact. But then 2 days before that, suddenly Congress came up with the idea that maybe he's not well, and they must have got wind of the thing that he's very serious. So they said that they wanted to, to stake the claim for running the government. So he is very, very good in keeping the party united, and then he was able to take everybody along with him. And this is proved in his 4 terms as a chief minister. It's not a small thing for a man like him. And a technocrat, that too. He's not a politician, born politician like many others. For him to gel with all these people and bringing Christians to the party fold, these are all very big things which he has done, and everybody should appreciate him for what he did for that state, small state.
Absolutely. It's the time to remember all his services towards the state of Goa and the country as India bids farewell to a common man's leader. You can hear the mantras being chanted as the funeral pyre gets ready. Manohar Parrikar's body being taken to the funeral pyre. We got your visuals of that as well. The last part of the last rites.
लोगों के लिए भी जिनसे किसी न किसी तरीके से मनोहर के साथ मिले और आज उसी क्षण को वो याद कर रहे हैं। कल्पना फॉलो किया क्या राजकीय सम्मान के साथ जुदाई की जो तैयारियां हैं वो अंतिम चरणों में हैं। मंत्रोच्चार के साथ सभा की गई उत्पल उनको मुखाग्नि देंगे के साथ अभिजीत हैं उत्पाल जो उनके बड़े बेटे हैं अभिजात में जुड़ा और पिछले 1 साल से हमने देखा है कि जब से उनकी तबीयत खराब हुई उनके बेटे यहीं पर गोवा में थे। पूरी कोशिश जरूर की गई थी किसी तरीके से उनके साथ मनोहर पर्रिकर साहब ने ध्यान दिया था कि कुछ भी हो जाए वो जो हमें जिम्मेदारी मिली है उसके बगैर एक कदम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। वही हुआ। हमने जो तस्वीरें देखी हैं पूरे देश ने देखी है कि जब उनकी स्थिति नहीं थी तब वो करने की तब वो फाइलें चेक कर रहे थे और तब वो फाइलों पर पेन चला रहे थे साइन कर रहे थे। यही तो हम लगातार निश्चय किसी का देता था किसी का होता है और अंतिम क्षण तक वो लोगों की सेवा में जुटे और यही तस्वीर सबसे अलग करती है वो साधु वो लोगों के लिए हर क्षण वो लोगों के बीच में।
Kalyani Shankar, political commentator, continues to be with us on the phone line as we bring you live visuals of the last rites of Manohar Parrikar, the Chief Minister of Goa, being performed. It's a full state funeral that's being performed on the Miramar beach in Goa's capital, Panaji. Huge posse of media and security personnel at the last rites. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi, Defence Minister of India Nirmala Sitharaman and other top union ministers of the central government present for the funeral. PM Modi in fact landing in Panaji at around 2 p.m. India time in the afternoon and heading straight to the Kala Academy where Manohar Parrikar's mortal remains were kept for the public to pay their respects. PM Modi consoling the members of the family and offering his condolences and paying his last respects to Manohar Parrikar, one of the tallest leaders for the BJP, 3-time Chief Minister of the state of Goa, the first ever BJP Chief Minister of the state of Goa, who eventually went on to become the Defence Minister of India under the Modi government, under whom the surgical strikes were conducted by India's armed forces. And he has been extremely ill over the last couple of years after he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, but he kept working till the end, till his last breath. He even presented the Goa state budget with a tube on his nose. But eventually, pancreatic cancer claiming Manohar Parrikar's life at the age of 63. Thousands pouring in to pay tribute to Manohar Parrikar at the Kala Academy in Panaji, where his mortal remains were kept for the day, and here at the Miramar beach in Panaji. These are visuals from the funeral pyre that has been kept ready. The procession took place from the Kala Academy in Panaji to Miramar beach, after which full state honours were accorded to Manohar Parrikar. He's a man known for his simplicity and his simple way of life and his love for his home state of Goa. A politician from a small state like Goa who went on to become a national level politician taking on the big defense ministry responsibility in the Modi government. He was sent back as the Chief Minister of Goa after the elections of Goa in 2017. Kalyani Shankar is with us on the phone line. In fact, we have S. Murari, senior journalist, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Murari, thank you so much for being with us here as we continue to bring live visuals of Manohar Parrikar's last rites being performed. As we've been telling the viewers, despite being from a small state like Goa, Manohar Parrikar stamped his authority on the national political scene after becoming the Chief Minister of Goa for 3 times, going on to take up one of the biggest ministries, the defense ministry in the Modi government.
A very, very remarkable man. And it's not just a loss to the BJP, it's a loss to the country also. A man who was highly educated, IIT graduate, and who was the activist of the RSS and the BJP, and who was responsible for the revival of the BJP in Goa. More than anything else, he was down to earth, simple and clean. That is the most important. Easy to get along with. Second point was, though he was ailing till the last birth, he worked. Something very, very rare to find in today's politicians. Very, very unfortunate loss to the country, not just to the BJP. I join everyone else in paying my tribute to Manohar's family.
Yes, our thoughts and prayers remain with Manohar Parrikar's family at this point in time. But Mr. Murari, what this also does is it throws open the state of Goa to political chaos.
I should not say it, but Congress could have waited a little longer. When they knew that it was critical and there's a number, they need not have hurried to send a letter to the governor taking claim. It's very not in good taste. Now, what is the point in saying that you are mourning with them, we'll host Antelas meeting and all that? That is very, very ill-timed and very poor taste. They should have waited. Yes, Congress may have had the numbers, BJP may have outnumbered them. All that is fine, but this is not the time for politics.
Absolutely.
The Chief Minister was dying. This is not the time for politics.
We also have Mr. Sumant C. Raman, senior journalist, joining us on the phone line. Sumant C. Raman, Mr. Manohar Parrikar was somebody who loved Goa, who loved a simple way of life, was the Chief Minister of Goa for multiple times, and eventually went on to become the Defence Minister of India, under whom the surgical strikes were performed. For an IIT graduate, it's been an incredible journey, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, he was a first in many ways. I mean, the fact that somebody educated without a big political background could make it big in politics is something that he established. And again, the ability to maintain that simplicity, even though he was at one point a 3 or 4 term Chief Minister of the state, plus, of course, having been the Defence Minister of the country. I think that all these qualities were endearing him to the people. And it's a huge loss. It's not just a loss for Goa. I mean, I believe that it's a loss for the whole nation.
But Mr. Sumant Raman, we had senior journalist S. Murari with us, and he was telling us about how it was ill-timed by the Congress to send a letter to the governor when they knew how critical Manohar Parrikar's state was.
I think it was extremely ill-timed. I think they could have waited, at least till the funeral was over. But I think the concern on the Congress side was that the governor might swear in another BJP MLA as the Chief Minister or a BJP leader as the Chief Minister, and then they would not have the opportunity to stake their claim. So I think that was the reason for the unseemly haste, but certainly it does not look in good taste to have done something like this, especially even before the funeral.
Absolutely. And you've seen everybody from the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, to BJP Party President Amit Shah, to Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, to Union Minister Suresh Prabhu. All of them are present for this funeral. PM Modi is one of the first to arrive. And the man who essentially put together this BJP government in the state of Goa, Nitin Gadkari, is also on the scene. So you see the BJP feeling this loss particularly.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if they had an option, they may have even tried to look at an alternative leader in the last couple of months at least. But several times they had discussions, but they just weren't able to identify anybody. So, which is why, until the day he passed away, Mr. Parrikar remained the Chief Minister. So, I think the BJP will feel this loss hugely as far as Goa is concerned. The question is, how do they deal with the loss, and they have to move on now, and what do the allies say? What is Goa Forward going to say? What is MGP going to say? What are the three independents going to say? And that's going to determine the future of the state.
Right, and at this time is also a good time to remember the kind of politician that Mr. Manohar Parrikar was known to be, somebody with very clear decision-making skills in the most complex of scenarios, an educated man, as I've been telling about, from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and in a sense, he presents a role model for future politicians of the country.
Absolutely, and I think that the fact that somebody could be in public life for 30, 35 years and not be tainted by any major corruption scandal is itself a tribute to the man, because you have leaders who are entering politics and who have scandals and cases against them within 5-10 years of their of life in active politics. Now, here was a man who came into the politics in the 80s, and now 35 years, 40 years later, he passes away without a single major scandal or corruption charge against his name, which is really remarkable.
We have S. Murari, another senior journalist, also with us on the phone line. Sumant, so stay with us. Mr. Murari, it's another important feature of Mr. Parrikar's legacy, the fact that despite being in public life for over 30-35 years, was never tainted by any kind of a scam or a scandal.
A shining example was the note he put up in the defense ministry file regarding handing over Rafale deal to HAL. He had reservations about that. But then, beyond the point, he did not want to stall the process when the Prime Minister had taken a decision. But he was a conscientious objector. The government should have heeded it. He said that Rahul Gandhi is trying to exploit that's politics. He showed his character. Even a critical issue like this, he had a mind of his own and he put up his notes. Of course, he also said it could be overlooked. The objection could be overlooked. That was in the larger interest of party or government or whatever. You must remember that. That was maybe the last major important file he signed on, put a note on. So showed his character, integrity. Very, very rare to find. One of the maybe the best leaders in the BJP, even the current dispensation, I would say. Very clean, very efficient, and very honest. Definitely.
We continue to bring you live visuals of the last rites of Mr. Manohar Parrikar that have been held at the Miramar beach in Panaji. Our political editor Kartikeya Sharma also joins us on this broadcast. Kartikeya, we've heard from Sumant C. Raman, S. Murari, senior journalists and political commentators were telling us it's very difficult to find another politician like Mr. Manohar Parrikar, because somebody who was an IIT graduate, completely educated from one of the highest institutions in the country, who went on to become a politician for 30-35 years, was never tainted by a scam or a scandal, was known for his simplicity and approachability, and his clarity in decision-making was highly hailed. And today, that is what is going to be sorely missed by India's politics.
I think, it's political acceptability, the fact that he was acceptable by most factions, the fact that he had to be sent back to Goa just because the government could remain, the fact that Mr. Parrikar was able to create a broad spectrum of people to support Bharatiya Janata Party, or even the fact that, he was one of the first few people who worked upon church in Goa, so that they become one of the constituents of Bharatiya Janata Party. What we see in Northeast under Ram Madhav is something which Mr. Parrikar did by 1999-2000. By 1999, BJP was power in Goa. Mr. Parrikar contested elections. He came into electoral politics in 1990. Look into his rise. 1988-89, he was loaned by RSS to BJP. 90, he lost election. 94, he became part of the Vidhan Sabha. And by 2000, he was the chief minister. So that way, Mr. Parrikar, in that short period of time, had worked hard and created a coalition of interests who supported Bharatiya Janata Party, which included a lot of non-conservative elements. I'm not saying that the BJP's social constituency in Goa is conservative, but Goa being so diverse, he built a very heterogeneous constellation of constituents that enabled Bharatiya Janata Party to survive and thrive. And it is for this reason he was sent back.
Absolutely, that's an important point that Kartikeya Sharma, our political editor, is making. Meanwhile, we also have Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist, joining us on the phone line. Neerja Chaudhary, we are talking about Mr. Manohar Parrikar and the kind of legacy he will leave. The fact that he created the sense of acceptability and brought together a diverse region like Goa and made it vote for the BJP time and again is emblematic of the kind of politician he was at the center as well.
Yes, I was thinking about this. He represented really the best tradition of Goa. What Goans are really known for. The diversity of Goa, the acceptance to all kinds of communities. That somebody was saying he was sent back to Goa when the BJP government was facing factionalism as a person who would be able to synthesize diverse interests, which he managed to do. And the simplicity of the man, I remember meeting him when he was in Chief Minister in Goa. And, the office, as I keep saying, there was no trappings of power in a very, in a way that sort of hits you in the face. That was not. It was very muted. And he said, I will definitely meet you. And he, despite a very long, difficult day, he did meet me. And so on. I think, and the fact that he had an upright image. He was known for his integrity, accessibility, of course, and therefore, and very grounded in the Goan ethos. I'm reminded of A.K. Antony of the Congress, very grounded in the Kerala ethos. Didn't want to go to national politics. Of course, he had to. So also, Mr. Parrikar preferred the Goan politics and the Goan scene much more to his stint as the defense minister of India, which he was.
These are visuals of the funeral pyre being lit of Manohar Parrikar. We are taking a very short breather here at the stage. We'll be back with more on the other side. Keep it with Beyond World is One.